This is Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox.
And we thank you so much for joining us on another edition of Financial Straight Talk. Like we are each and every week, we're here with Jim Fox. He's the founder, president, and investment advisor rep with Wadadley Financial Group right here on the Space Coast. Also this week, joined by John Bertrand, client services associate. And Jim, John, and the entire team, they're standing by at Wadadley Financial Group. If you are approaching retirement, you'd like to learn more about putting those pieces of your retirement puzzle together, you want to get on their calendar? Of course you do. That number's 321-414-7526. That's 321-414-PLAN, or online it's getfst.com. So Jim, I'm so glad you were able to join us for this segment, because this is one I think is right up your alley. I know you're a big space guy right here on the Space Coast, but you're a big Star Wars and like, you know, those type of that genre of movie. That's big for you. And if you've walked in the office, anybody would see that in a hurry, right?
Yeah, it is. And just so our listeners know, I have not seen what Kevin's about to ask me. Like, literally, this is cold. I'm wondering where this is going to go. So please throw me for a loop, Kevin.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring it up because telescopes here on Earth, and of course in outer space as well, they are locked in on a very large interstellar visitor. Jim, it's being
for real.
This is for real.
Atlas 1 or Atlas whatever. Yeah.
Atlas 3-1 is said to be the size of Manhattan Island, and it's showing signs that make some folks wonder if it's extraterrestrial in nature. And one of those folks wondering is Harvard physicist Avi Loeb. Take a listen to this.
It is most likely a comet, but there is a non-negligible chance given that it shows 9 anomalies, things that are weird. That raises concern that if it represents something other than a natural comet, we should attend to it. We should get as much data as possible. But usually we deal with objects that are so far away, they have no implications for our life. Here, we have a visitor to our backyard that could potentially enter through our front door.
All right, so I don't know if it's going to be knocking on our front door. And by the way, folks, if you do want to gaze to the skies, Atlas 3I will come closest to Earth on December the 19th. So you got a few more weeks to go. And Jim, the reason I bring it up is obviously we can't always predict what's out there. And it is fascinating to think about space and the universe and the galaxies and things of that. But what we can focus on is things when it comes to retirement planning. How can you help our listeners, plan for those unexpected? I'm not talking about an extraterrestrial being, but those unexpected things they'll encounter once they do get to retirement.
Yeah, and it's actually one of the most difficult things to figure out, to be honest with you. So it's super simple. The answer to your question is we reverse engineer a plan based on your desires, okay? Mm-hmm. So if you say, I need $10,000 a month, and you're getting $5,000 from a pension, and you're getting $3,000 from Social Security, that means your shortfall is $2,000. We go out and try and figure out what vehicle will generate the $200,000 using the least amount of money, freeing up the rest of the money to do all the things we want to do, including take care of you if unexpected things pop up. That is Jim talking at Mach speed financial weenie terms, okay? Right. So it's a very simple math problem in a lot of ways. But the variable is the unknown, right? So what are the unknowns? Well, the unknowns could be something as simple as taxation, inflation, right? Those are, kind of things we know to expect to deal with. What happens if you get sick? Yeah. What happens if your grandchild gets sick? See, these are the weird things that we have to think about. So when I sit down with somebody and we really focus on their plan, because this is what this is all about. This is about a plan. And we have a very technical term that I stole from the Marine Corps, and it's super technical, okay? And it is in our office, we must always be, we've heard Semper Fidelis, always faithful, right? Semper Fi, right? Yep. Well, in our office, when we sit down with our clients, we have to be Semper Gumby, all right? Always flexible, right? Mm-hmm. Because we got to have a plan that makes sense and can move with us. So what do? When we sit down with you, we literally will tell you that, hey, Kevin, Melissa, you guys have a shortfall of $3,200 a month. Now, here are our options to meet that shortfall. We can put it in the market. It might take, and I'm making this number up, $1.2 million to generate $3,200 a month, okay? okay? Now, if we put that in there, we got to kind of leave it alone because it's generating income for you to live on. But we might be able to use a dividend fund, and it only needs $810,000 to do it. Well, that's better because I freed up $200,000+ to play with, right? Or if it's the right fit for a client, we may look at one of the income-bearing annuities that acts like a pension, right? It'll pay out income to you and your spouse, depending on how you set it up, for the rest of your life. Kevin, that might only take $400,000 making up these numbers, right? Right? So if we use the one at $400,000, that means that there's, in this example, what is that, $700,000-$800,000 left over to make up for those surprises that may come along. So when we sit down with people, our goal is to reverse engineer your plan and free up as much money for the unknown that we can. Now, let me tell you about the unknown, because the unknown isn't just bad stuff. The unknown is, I have always wanted, the client that I was in working with today, that's why I was late coming in today, is looking for a right-hand drive Range Rover Defender, or Land Rover Defender. That's $110,000. Right? That's an unknown. And you know what's great? I can easily find the money for that all day long, have zero impact on them. Why? Because we structured and built the plan in a way that there was extra money for the unknown that's out there. Listen, I get it. I worked, and John and I worked together at literally the largest financial firm at one time, the first $1 trillion company that ever existed. We worked there. And all we did as financial weenies is do what a lot of other financial weenies do, which is sell product after product after product. And we say the same thing. Just hang in there. Markets go up, markets go down. When they come back, you don't lose anything. Right? This is just the nonsense we used to say. But what we didn't do is figure out how to build a plan that if things were good, you were going to be okay. And when things were bad, you were going to be okay. And the definition of okay is you enjoying retirement, not I can eat a loaf of bread a week. Okay, that is not having a good time. That is not being okay. What we want to do is we want to give you an understanding of your plan so you can be comfortable that if something comes out of left field, what do we call it? Atlas 3A, 1B, Bravo, front door, rear door. I mean, I don't know what movie we're watching, but there's a lot of innuendos going on here. And my point that I'm trying to make is that we want to make sure that you have a solid understanding of how your plan works. The problem is the vast majority of you that are listening to me right now just have a bunch of things. Some dude sold you an annuity. Some dude sold you a mutual fund. Some girl sold you some insurance. You have CDs. You have cash. You have 401ks, 403bs, 457s, TSPs, target date funds, life cycle funds. I mean, it goes on and on and on. But none of you have a plan.
We see that all the time. People come in here and they'll have 5 or 6 annuities, and we go, well, why did you purchase this one? Why did you purchase? There's really no reason. They just bought them.
They buy stuff. That is not a plan. Having things is not a plan. Ladies and gentlemen, having a plan is having a plan. And that plan has to figure out, how do we pay you? How do we take care of little Timmy, who is a special needs child? That happens to us frequently. How do we take care of them when you're gone? How do you get your money to your kids or grandkids? You don't like your wife's or your wife's husband, so how do we have a plan that, heaven forbid, she passes away, that money flows down to your grandchildren and doesn't go buy sports cars for for the son-in-law you don't like? These are real problems that we deal with every single day. The problem is you think you're going to go and get a robo-advisor, a chat GPT, or whoever you're using and figure this stuff out. Here's the reality. We are very fortunate that we have seen tens of thousands of people, and we've helped them walk through different versions of retirement. Some accumulation of wealth, some dying, some estate planning. We've done all this stuff. And with that, we can help craft a plan that makes sense for you. There is no right answer. There never will be. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be adjustments. That's why we believe in Semper Gumby. We always want to be flexible. We got to make sure that the plan that we have can ebb and flow with what's happening happening in real time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a pitch for you to call me. I don't even know if I would like you as a client. I want you to have the knowledge to make better decisions. And if that means you become a client, we all get together, great. And I will love that if we get along. But even if we don't, you walk out the door with a better understanding of your retirement. Kevin's going to give you the number in just a second. I encourage you, it's up to you to pick up that phone. We've been talking to some of you guys for years and you've never picked up that phone. This is the time. This is the time to start 2026 differently than you have ever started in another year. And all you have to do is pick up the phone. Kevin, give out that number and let's wrap this show up.
That number again, folks, is 321-414-7526. Like Jim said, a lot of folks out there have been tuned in. You listen each and every week and you've been thinking about picking up the phone and you kick that can down the road. Well, don't delay. The start of another new year is right around the corner. And if you'd like to get a jump on 2026 and beyond, whether it's, finalizing that retirement plan or just being a second opinion, having Jim and the team sit down and look over what you currently have. Again, you want to get on his calendar today. That number is 321-414-7526, 321-414-PLAN, or online. It's getfst.com. That's getfst.com. Well, Jim, John, it's been another great show here today. First and foremost, I wish you both a very happy Thanksgiving. I know it's a great time of year. And guys, before we run out of time, I'd love to leave the floor all yours for the final word.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Well, every week, guys, we say the same thing. Kevin and I know that you have tons of options when it comes to finding financial information, and we're just honored to be one of those resources. So like you said, if there's anything we can do, pick up the phone, give us a call. We're here to help you out. With all that being said, on behalf of myself and Mr. Kevin Mack and now Mr. John Bertrand, I want to thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you next time on the Financial Straight Talk.
Thanks for listening to Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox. To learn more, visit getfst.com.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Wadadley Financial Group. Wadadley Financial Group is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Wadadley Financial Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Wadadley Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any government agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Wadadley Financial Group.